What's your go-to? Like if you, let's say, a client hires you for something real basic, quick chop content or something like that, a couple transitions or whatever. Like what is your creative process when you first go right into editing? Like you open up Adobe Premiere, first thing you do, you drag in the footage, obviously, right? But then when you go to like what's your like go-to transition? What's your you know what I mean?
Yeah, so I used to have a website called
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, just keep doing your guys.
seeing some people on Instagram put one of those camcorders that you were talking about on the gimbal, and
Yeah.
they did some like one of those like viral Instagram effects where you kind of like put something in the center and like we speed ramp up to that little object,
Yeah.
and it looks all right. I mean,
Like the quick zoom, but the background stays the same kind of
yeah,
thing. But you go up,
yeah, and so that's pretty cool. I mean, yeah, a lot of people, they're doing some crazy things nowadays with video, especially now that we have CapCut. A lot of people are making some crazy effects that I've only seen them doing like After Effects, but they're doing them on their phones. And, a lot of the stuff they're doing is really, really cool. Like the speed ramps and like
what's your go-to? Like if you, let's say, a client hires you for something real basic, quick chop content or something like that, a couple transitions or whatever. Like what is your creative process when you first go right into editing? Like you open up Adobe Premiere, first thing you do, you drag in the footage, obviously, right? But then when you go to like what's your like go-to transition? What's your you know what I mean?
Yeah, so I used to have a website called motionarray.com, and they have like a bunch of transitions that you can easily like import into Premiere. And there's this one like basic transition pack that I have, which is like easy slide in, easy slide right, easy slide left. And it makes the transitions from clip to clip look pretty cool. It's a basic like little transition. It just adds like a motion blur and a push. So like, let's say that I was filming me right here, then I was filming you in another clip. So we could just like easily like add like an easy slide right out and then an easy slide right in. And so it looks kind of cool. And so little things like that is something that I do. I'm trying to like get better at transitions because I've noticed that a lot of people they don't like use external transitions. They kind of like make them themselves as they edit.
Right.
And so yeah, that's kind of my like little workflow.
I got you. Well, what about like color profile? Because you mentioned a lot about the importance of that, like from getting it from the camera for what you're doing. But when you go to do it yourself, are you normally like drag and drop a LUT, or is it more of like you would rather build that from the ground up? And when you do that, what are you more like by default? Just are you more like I'm gonna go for like a warmer look? Like yeah, you want to tailor it to the project, but for you personally, like do you go for like a more warmer look or like a colder,
Yeah, so I mean, I don't really know too much about color grading. I mean, I want to learn more, but I do use LUTs. And so one of my favorite LUT packs is the Phantom LUTs. I don't know if y'all have heard of that.
What's you gotta give me the rundown.
Okay, so Phantom LUTs, they were created by this guy who was trying to make log footage from different cameras look like ARRI Alexa footage. So the LUTs look like make your footage look really, really cinematic. Like no matter like what kind of log style you're using, like if you're using like S log, C log, V log, it makes your footage look really, really good. And so then on top of that, I stock another LUT. So I've been using the same LUTs for like years. There's I don't know if you've heard of Film Riot.
Film Riot, no.
Okay, so Film Riot is a YouTube channel. They do all kinds of crazy things. They show like filmmaking.
Like, the resource guys. They have like a bunch of like templates they give away.
Yeah, definitely something like that. They do a lot of crazy things like VFX. They show like filmmakers like tutorials and things like that. Mm-hmm. So they made like a film LUT pack a long time ago. It has like some of my favorite movies and TV shows. And so I use those color profiles, and because I've used these for years and years, I know like what kind of look I'm going for like as I'm editing. So I guess to answer your question, I always go for kind of like a warmer look most of the time.
Gotcha.
Because like where we live in Texas, it's always mostly sunny. And so I use a LUT called The Walking Dead. Yeah. So they have this LUT called The Walking Dead, which is like kind of like mirrors the colors of the first 3 seasons of The Walking Dead. And the first 3 seasons, it was like mainly sunny in Georgia, like a lot of green, a lot of earthy, warm, kind of saturated
bringing those
vibes.
colors out.
Yeah, so that's what that LUT does to my footage. And so that's kind of what I do. But I would like to eventually learn how to color grade from the ground up and not use LUTs. Yeah, so my name is Michael Cavazos, and so I do a lot of photography, videography. I do a lot of video editing. Currently, right now, I'm trying to do videography and photography full time.
I got you. So, like personal life, what got you started? Like, how did you know this was something that you wanted to do more than just like maybe a hobby or, like for fun? You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, shooting. I went and filmed this. That's cool. This is fun. But really, like, you don't have an Adobe Premiere subscription without like loving it or wanting to do it. You know what I mean? It's not just for fun at that point. I would have to assume. So like when did that transition happen? Like where did you start with it? And at what point did it become not like for fun? You know what I mean? When did you start like, not that it's not still fun, right? But, like people coming to you, having clients, having a studio, that just talk about that transition period and how you started getting into like doing it like for real.
Yeah, right. Sure. So, when I was like really young, like almost 10 years ago, I picked up a Canon T5i. I always kind of thought I'd be good at photography. I just always was always really artistic growing up. I would always watch movies. I was always big into doodling. What I really wanted to do was become a writer, but I just could never finish a novel for whatever reason. But I always loved movies. I always loved cinema. I always liked seeing different angles. I always loved paintings. I think some of my favorite inspiration has come from the Renaissance paintings.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I look at artists like Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, Raphael, all these different artists have painted all these cool images throughout time, and I've always kind of wanted to mimic that style, that dreamy kind of style. And I've always been influenced by, like I said, cinema, video games, all kinds of visual artistry. And so I didn't know how to graphic design or anything. So so I guess the easiest way I could get into visual art would be photography, because I've always seen old books that have a bunch of cool photography, and I kind of wanted to do things like that. So I started doing portraits. One of my friends, he started this website called theruby.com, and it was basically finding models, and we would give them photo shoots, and we would direct the photos to the website. He was trying to make money doing that, trying to get advertising and things like that. So I would be the photographer. So he kind of gave me my first start. So basically I learned how to pose models. Through that, I learned how to edit photos. I learned about how a camera works, how settings work, ISO, shutter speed,
right.
Things like that. When to use a different lens, how to edit in Photoshop, little things like that. So I kept going and going. We kept going for a while.
So that was your start. That was kind of the into the
yeah. So working with models was my kind of first start, posing them. Just learning how different angles work. And so in Photoshop, you kind of get a basic understanding of how to color grade, because even back then they still had LUTs, right? And so little things like that. So I learned a lot through using Photoshop and doing photography.
Gotcha. And so starting with photography and going from that base studio where you're learning and working with models and kind of figuring everything out, that's just photography. And so you started with portrait.
Yeah.
When did those lines cross where you started doing videography?
Yeah, so I forgot to mention, I've always wanted to do videography, right? So, like I said, I like visual art. So I initially bought the T5i because I wanted to make short films and documentaries and things like that. But so I tried to make a short web series about gangsters. I was big into Sons of Anarchy at the time.
Right.
And so I was trying to make something similar. And so I had this whole casting notice. And so I met with actors, and we filmed half of an episode of a web series. But I realized like how complicated things could be, filming a web series, especially when you have no budget. You don't know anything about how to actually shoot a movie. You just have watched a bunch of movies.
You're just going into it blind. Oh, where's the boom mic?
Exactly. You just watched a bunch of movies your whole life. Now you think you're Robert Rodriguez because you watched your favorite movie and you thought, hey, I could do this too, right? And so
looks easy enough.
The web series didn't come out really that good, and I kind of stopped. Me and my friend, we were shooting, and we were shooting at this pizza shop, and I got permission from this lady's son to be there, right? And we filmed like a little scene, but the owner, she charged my friend like $100 because she said that we were interrupting her pizza shop. And so after that, we just kind of stopped the web series because a lot of actors, they just kind of dropped out. We were having difficulties with some of the actors. And
a little ego,
one of the actors yelled at me and
said, "Do you know who I am out front of the pizza shop?"
And I think that after the whole pizza shop fiasco, the other actors didn't really want to do it anymore, which is understandable. And so after that, I just kind of like mainly stuck to photography. After that, let's see. So I was still doing the portraits with the models, and I was finishing college. And around college, like towards my last year of college, I think the like A6300 came out. And so I got that camera. And so I started doing more video stuff because the footage from the A6300 looked a lot better than the T5i. And so, but at the same time, one thing that was kind of holding me back was having like a crappy laptop, because with like crappy Macs back then, you couldn't like really edit video too well. So one of my friends, he was nice enough to give me his old MacBook Pro that he wasn't using because he bought like one of the newer MacBooks that came out, like one of the M1 MacBooks, I think.
Yeah.
And so, but his MacBook Pro, he like decked it out with like 16 gigabytes of RAM. He had like these new SD cards in it. And so I was finally able to edit 1080p footage without like my computer just lagging all the time.
Yeah, that original iMovie was hateful.
And so I started video editing on Final Cut Pro, but a lot of people were telling me about Premiere Pro. And so I wanted to try the Adobe line because I was already familiar with Photoshop. And so I switched to Premiere Pro my last year of college. One of my classes, they wanted me to edit a documentary to pass the class. And so I got a lot of experience doing that.
That's a challenge, It's a good learning experience.
And so, I was learning how to do little things like this. But some of my friends in college, we were also shooting like quinceañeras, we were shooting weddings, we were shooting music videos for like small time bands that were trying to come up. And so we were doing that for a couple of years. And so I got a lot of experience with video doing that stuff. And so that also helped me learn how to shoot video a lot better. And so, little things like that definitely helped. Little projects like that helped me do video a lot more. Learning how the camera worked definitely helped. I still didn't know it's like a lot of things that I know now. Like for example, when I had my A6300, I had no idea how to shoot an S-Log 2. Shooting in log can be really important because if you shoot in log, you get the best dynamic range, you get the best colors out of your camera. That's something that was like a foreign concept to me back then.
But even understanding that as a photographer, a videographer, cinematographer, like even knowing what that is going into it, if it's you've been in the world for a while and or you're just getting into it, it's your camera. It's literally your hardware. That's your, so.
Yeah, for sure. And so, so I just, so I was kind of like off and on again. After college, I was looking for jobs and things like that. One cool thing that I did buy was a gimbal. So I had the first Zooyon crane. Like, I don't know if you...
How steady were those things? In retrospect now, knowing what we have available now for like gimbals and...
Yeah, they weren't like as advanced as the kind of gimbals that I use now. Like I use a DJI RS4 now. But the Zooyon crane would have worked better if I had taken the time to actually balance it properly. One of the things that, me and my friends...
just screwing on the camera going to town.
It's kind of what we were doing back then. One of the things that, I was kind of doing was just like barely balancing it, like making sure the pan was balanced, making sure the tilt was a little balanced. But, you know, other than that, I wasn't really balancing it properly. Now that I look back at it, you know, the footage that I got would have came out a lot better. But, I mean, for what it was at the time, it's still a pretty cool thing.
Yeah.
And plus, it got, like, a lot of attention when we used it. Like, a lot of people, when they saw it, they were like, dang, that's a cool piece of equipment.
Just adds that much more to it. And then, you go to a function with the rig, the gimbal, whatever it is, you know. It's
it makes you look legit and professional sometimes.
You skip the line and, you know. I'm here to film.
Yeah, and so, after college, I was looking for jobs. I couldn't really find anything like marketing or media. So I worked at GoDaddy for a little while. I absolutely hated it, but I was still doing like videography on the side. Like I was still shooting weddings and ginzas and you know, little things like that. And then I got kind of canned from GoDaddy because I took a vacation and my boss didn't like it for whatever reason.
Good times.
And so it wasn't really a vacation. It was more like a work vacation. Like this guy, he hired me to go to New Orleans to like film his little conference. And so I filmed that, but when I came back to Austin, I didn't have a job anymore. And so I spent the next couple of months like freelancing, like looking for jobs, doing all kinds of things. One of my friends, he had a hat company and he had his own business, so he was kind of well off. And so he would like take us to like concerts, things like that, and we would do like videography for like some local bands in like Dallas and stuff like that. He also would hire models. And we would shoot for him. We would shoot like for his band.
So just getting in the mix a little bit.
Yeah, I was doing a lot of things.
People.
Yeah, one cool thing that I did was I went on tour with this band. They were a Mexican band, but they toured with a famous Mexican band called I forgot the band's. Well, anyways, yeah. So I did that, and so, but my thing that kind of like gave me a better understanding of videography and video editing was I got hired by a company called Interactive Lifeforms. And for those of you who don't know what Interactive Lifeforms, they make the brand called Fleshlight. And so I started doing videography and video editing for Fleshlight. And so that's kind of how I started like learning a lot more about video editing. Cause like I came in as a marketing assistant, but they saw that I was good at video. And so I kind of started making videos for them, and then they just asked me to be the video editor full time. So I did that for almost 4 years.
That's a pretty sweet transition into that world. I mean, you know, like full time, you know.
Yeah, and so that's kind of how like I started getting more of a stronger grasp of how like video editing works. And so after I got laid off from Fleshlight, I just kept doing video. People still ask me to do videos sometimes. My friends who are in real estate, who do business networking. That's a big deal.
Real estate,
Yeah, I have a lot of friends that are
making that stuff look good for the flyers and brochures and things. Sure. Yep. So I got to ask, the way that you film, I'm assuming here is based off of your love for, like what you've said before, cinematography in general. You know, movies, video games, and things that you've seen that you liked, and let me think, that threw me off there. We'll cut that out. So, it's like, sorry.
It's okay.
So what your inspirations basically for the way that you get your shots now come from obviously your favorite movies, your favorite, you know, things that you've seen, video games, the structures, the landscapes, whatever it may be. What are some of the most inspiring things? It could be the paintings, you know, it could be specific movies, but just if you had to pick like a top 3 things that were like, you know, like a Kubrick style shot or something, right? Like something that really just was like, wow, this is different. This is cool. I'm going to do something with that. What would you say, like your top like 3, if you had to pin them?
I think like, definitely pans, like smooth pans look really, really good. Close-ups with like bokeh in the background look really good. I think that really good like wide angle shots look really cool. Like when you're doing like a good wide angle shot and you see like so much like motion in the camera, I mean, I think that's really, really cool too. But I don't really have like a specific like shots that I do. Like I just kind of like
you just go off the gut.
See whatever's going on. I just kind of like go from there.
Gotcha.
So
if you had your top 2 movies,
I'd say Looper.
Looper.
I don't know if you've ever seen Looper.
It's a older, early 2000s.
It's 2013, around 2000.
Okay.
Yeah, so Looper, with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Bruce Willis, it's about time travel.
Mm-hmm.
So Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays like the younger version of Bruce Willis, and Bruce Willis is like the older version. And so it's just this like a really interesting aspect of time travel. It's like it's such a unique story that, you know, it's not a comic book, it's a movie, it's not a superhero movie. It's just like
he's right behind me, isn't he? Yeah.
It's really cool. And so I think number 2. Number 2 movie. I'm not really 100% sure, but right now I'm kind of thinking like American Graffiti.
That's a classic. That is a classic.
I mean, that's one of my favorite movies of all time. A lot of people don't know that George Lucas made other movies besides Star Wars and Indiana Jones. But American Graffiti is a really, really good movie, and I really like, you know, how he did a lot of things on that movie, like 4-arc structure. I think that's really cool. So I think Looper and American Graffiti would be like 2 of my top favorite movies of all time.
Hell yeah, those are pretty good picks, man. American Graffiti is a sleeper. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people they're not familiar with it, which really sucks, but it's a really, really good movie. I mean, it's, you know, just a different kind of movie.
Mm-hmm. What would you say in terms of people that inspire you, not necessarily media or art or just in general, but other people's work that you know, people that you've met over the years doing what you do and through editing and the jobs you've worked. It could also be like, you know, prominent people like Lyrical Lemonade guys and all those guys. But just in general, like who would you say, like if you had to name a couple that really like inspire you, their work that they do?
Let's see. Dang. There's some popular YouTubers that are doing some really, really cool stuff, like Potato Jet.
Okay.
I don't know if you know who that is.
Not familiar.
So he's this dude who does like a bunch of reviews on like the latest camera equipment, and camera software. He does a lot of really, really cool stuff. Like he reviews like all brands, like Sony, Lumix, all this cool stuff. And I think
just informative, just really
informative. And I think who is Matt Johnson? He does a lot of cool stuff. He's one of my favorite YouTubers to watch. He specifically like focuses like more on Sony cameras. And so like whenever I need like the latest news on Sony, I go to him because he does a lot of cool stuff, and he does a lot of like wedding videography, but he knows like all kinds of things on like, you know, how to color grade, how to get the most out of your camera, little things like that.
The back end, real detail oriented type. I got you. If you had to say, in terms of painting, just because I very rarely hear people mention that they're always inspired by art, right? But specifically paintings and that the world of art, but in that sect, you know, because that is kind of more niche, especially now, I feel like, because what prominent painters in the last like 5 years, you know, 10 years type of thing. What would be like your biggest like piece, your favorite piece, I guess, like, damn, this is, you know,
let's see.
With the exception of the Sistine Chapel, let's rule that one out because, you know.
Yeah, I think Pietra, I think that's how you pronounce it. So it's like this scene, I'm not sure which artist exactly made it, but it's the scene where the Virgin Mary is like holding Jesus after he got crucified. I think that scene is really good. I don't think it's a painting. I think it's a statue actually, but it's still really, really cool.
Yeah.
And so I think that that image is one of my favorite images, like just her holding her dead son.
Yeah. And
looking really sad, and you see like the tears on her face. I think that's a really, really cool scene. It like definitely like has a lot of emotion in it.
The details too, especially in sculptures like that, the you can see the creases in the hand, you know what I mean? And the fabric and cloth.
Yeah, and there's this other Italian painter that has come out recently, and he does a lot of cool stuff on Instagram. I forgot his name though. But I mean, Frazetta, I don't know if you've heard of Frazetta paintings. Frazetta, like this guy, artist Frazetta, he does a lot of cool like detailed paintings, or like he details the human body in detail. He's a really cool painter.
That sounds write that down.
Yeah. I think he's done a lot of stuff for like comic books and stuff like that. I'm not 100% sure.
That's a lot. That sounds like, if you're like body oriented, I mean, the older comic books and even newer ones, they're like, just inhumanly jacked superheroes, you know, or just,
I mean, but I think his paintings are definitely a bit more realistic. So yeah. But there's another Italian artist that I've seen on Instagram. Like his paintings are surreal, but they definitely like evoke a lot of emotion. Like he has this one painting where like just all these cool things that are going on. Like it looks like it could be like from an older time period, like the Renaissance or mannerism, but his style is really, really cool. Like he still paints on like fresco, I think, and so he looks really cool.
That's neat. I don't know too many. I don't know anyone actually. I don't think that
he still does it.
That's wild.
Cool. Yeah.
So I do have to ask, your work ranges. It's not just one thing, obviously, from the photography to the shooting style and the events that you shoot. What are some of the most prominent or like your favorite shoots, or like the work that you have done personally that you are proud of? And please don't be bashful, you know, because I know we like to I just whatever.
Yeah.
But that you've done, it doesn't have to be like in the last year, but just in general, your favorite, like what are you most proud of that you've done, like content or work or just, you know, photography in general. I
think one of my favorite videos that I made last year was when I shot the video for the Austin Chicken Wing Festival. And
live.
For those of you who don't know, there was an Austin Chicken Wing Festival last year. It wasn't the biggest festival, but it was really cool. I mean, I had a great time shooting it. I had a great time going to like multiple vendors and seeing them like cook deep fry their chicken wings and things like that. I think I got like the feeling or the emotion of the event itself, because there was a lot of people there. A lot of cool things were going on. There was a DJ there. There was a petting zoo. There was, you know, people enjoying themselves just eating, because, you know, who doesn't love chicken wings, right? I mean, Pluckers, Wingstop.
The petting zoo at the chicken wing for
We had all kinds of vendors there. I think Gus's Fried Chicken won the best
no doubt
won the best chicken wing in Austin.
No doubt, yeah.
Because I think that, you know, Gus's Fried Chicken, they have like a simple kind of concept. It's just fried chicken. It's not any kind of crazy flavors. You know, some restaurants and bars, they come up with all these wacky flavors for their chicken wings, right? But Gus's Fried Chicken is just kind of like this universal thing. It's just regular fried chicken. I think that's what people like at the end of the day.
One thing to talk about, but Gus kind of speaks for itself. I mean, it's just good.
Yeah, and so I think with that video, I was able to do like, you know, just capture the feeling and the vibe of the event. So that's one video that I was proud of. And I think the next video that I really, really liked is working with this model. Her name is Alondra. If you look at my Instagram page, you'll see her like multiple times in my videos. She's a really cool model. She like knows how to like, you know, I guess show a lot of emotion on camera. And so she does a lot of cool things. Like she spins around, you know, she seems like really
very little instruction. She just knows what to do.
Yeah, she just knows what to do. She's just like a natural actress, I think. And I think that working with her is really, really cool, because, you know, she's able to do a lot of cool things, you know, that I think if like somebody who's starting out probably wouldn't do. Like she's been a model for a long time.
Right.
If you look at her Instagram page, she gets like interviewed by TMZ sometimes. And so, yeah, I mean, working with her is fun. Little things like that are some of the best things that I'm proud of, and how like some of those videos have come out. But, you know, I just want to like get better at that. Yeah, I mean, the Chicken Wing Festival is cool, but I want to make a video that's better than that. Yeah, working with Alondra was cool.
You always want to improve. I mean, for anything, and this, especially this being your craft. I mean,
yeah,
you know,
for sure. Yeah, and we're looking at back at those videos that I made last year. Those were some of my favorite videos, but now that, you know, I'm kind of like back at them, hindsight, I know how to like make them better, you know?
Right.
And so, but yeah, those are some of my favorite videos that I've done so far.
I got you. If you wouldn't mind, this camera, I believe, I'm sorry, over here, camera 3, that's on you. If you wouldn't mind just your Instagram or where we can find you and your content, and if you have a website as well, you know, feel free to plug.
Awesome. Please. So yeah, if you want to see my work or contact me, you can find me on Instagram at cavazos.studios. And if you want to see my portfolio, it's michaelcavazos.net.
And Cavazos spelled
Cavazos.
Gotcha. Thank you very much. I think we're going to go ahead and take a quick second, just a break real quick, and then
Yeah.